Nothing, this is B-Movie Madness. The movie I'm going to talk about today, well, the one I'm going to talk about today is a new release from SOVHorror.com. And that is the one, the only, the legendary Joe Meredith variant. First of all, before I comment on the plot and all that, let's take a look at this cover art. Now, I'm going to have a better view of it on screen. It'll be popping up over here or over there. This artwork was done by a really good friend of mine, Billy Infinity. He also did the artwork for I Was a Teenage Gorehound, which was a previous SOV horror release. That looked great as well, but this one right here looks amazing. Really, really stunning work. You know, he's a really great guy and an amazing artist. So I just want to give a shout out to Billy for his great work. Now, what is Variant about? Well, Variant is about the EonCorp series continues in the shot-on-video science fiction gore-fest. A lethal embryo is used by a deranged man to release a new infection that exceeds the malignancy of the Havoc pathogen, raising the mutant dead from their graves and unleashing a new breed of alien terror. Now, as it says above the first part, it says the EonCorp series. This is actually a third part of a series. And full disclosure, I have not seen the first two yet. I just watched this one just recently, so I have not seen the first two whatsoever. But if they're anything like this one right here, then I'm in for a really a fucking treat, because Variant was fucking awesome. I absolutely loved this one. I was blown away. Now I was hoping to be blown away because I saw the trailer and I was like, this looks amazing, and it exceeded my expectations. This was awesome. It has some of the best effects work I've seen in an SOV. So I got to give a big shout out to James Bell and Joe Meredith. You guys did incredible work for what I assume is very little money. All the creatures looked awesome. All the makeup effects looked awesome. I would say this is probably the best effects work I've seen in an SOV. I'm not quite 100% sure on that because I'd have to think about it maybe, but if it's not the best, it's up there in the top 3 or top 5. I would actually put it up there with the Spirit Gallery, another previous SOV horror release, which had incredible effects work. I would put it up there with that. That's how good the effects are in this movie. If you want to see for yourself, the trailer be embedded at the end and take a look at it, because everything looked really, really, really well done. But before I get into the creature stuff, let's talk about the acting and story and everything. Like I said, I have not seen the first 2 parts of this movie, but I didn't feel like I was lost at all watching this. I wasn't like, huh, what's going on? No, I wasn't lost at all. There's only a few characters in this movie, not much dialogue. In fact, I don't think there's any dialogue for the main character, the deranged man on the back it says. I don't think he says anything in this movie. And there's also a side story with a young girl or a young woman who has a miscarriage in her bathroom, and she flushes the toilet, and you can kind of guess what happens. It ends up the alien goop, whatever, infuses with a baby, and it turns into this big old monster, which I will get into that in a few minutes, because that's probably my favorite monster in the movie, or favorite alien creature in the movie. But it's really just a simple story. This deranged man, he ends up injecting himself with the alien like goop, and the goop seeps into the ground in a cemetery, and it brings back the dead. And then there's also the side story involving the young woman and the miscarried baby. So it's a very, very simple story, but you can tell there is more to it. Like, not only more to it because there's 2 other movies before it, but there's more. You can tell that he plans on doing, and in fact he is planning on doing more after this, part 4 that expands on to the end of this one. But it's a very simple story, but very well executed. The acting, for the amount of characters there is, it's actually fairly decent. I thought, the EonCorp people, or the government people, did a good job. But it's a simple story, but fairly decent acting. But, to be honest, the thing that, the reason to watch this is the amazing effects work. I hate to say it, but I mean, the story and acting are fairly decent, so it's not like it has nothing to it but the effects work. But the effects work is definitely the best thing about it. You can tell, like I said, they put some real effort into the creature effects work. There's several creatures in this movie. There's zombies, mutant zombies, which were really cool. There's a scene with a drifter, and the zombies attack the drifter. Some of the zombies actually look like, in my opinion, they reminded me of Intoxic Avenger Part 3, when the devil is transforming Toxie back to Melvin. There's this one stage of the makeup where he's all kind of bloated and melty. some of the zombies look like that, and I thought that was pretty cool. The zombies are cool. There's a creature that kind of reminds me of the Deadly Spawn, but with one head. You don't see that creature much in the movie. On the commentary, Joe says that it was really hard to operate, so he didn't really use it much. That one was really cool. But hands down, my favorite one was definitely miscarriage baby monster. I don't know how I can say that. That thing was really cool looking. It kind of reminded me of if you ever seen the movie, the Roger Corman movie, The Nest, that he produced in the 80s. There's this creature at the end, and it kind of reminded me of that. Not as big as that, but it reminded me of that. And if you are into hentai, you will really enjoy the sequence where the baby monster ends up attacking the girl and penetrating her with its tentacles. It actually took me by surprise when it actually showed one shot in particular, but it's probably my favorite scene in the movie. Close second would be the zombie attack sequence on the Drifter. Um, those were really cool looking. And the end of the movie, in which the deranged man turns into this monster, which will most likely lead into the fourth entry in the series. That was really cool too. That was a really cool kind of effect sequence as well. There is a dream sequence with a miniature work by, let me get his name. I want to get his name right. Matt Jefferson. He did some miniature effects work in this dream sequence that looked really cool. And I do want to give a shout out to Dustin Mills. He did. There's a burning city scene, and now the city itself is real, but he added the flames. And I legitimately thought during my first watch of it that it was a legit burning city, like stock footage that Joe got a hold of and he put in the movie. I thought it was real, so I got to give Dustin Mills a shout out because the flames look real. And the SOV look helped as well. It kind of all together it looked like a real burning city stock footage. So big shout out to Dustin Mills. If you don't know who Dustin Mills is, he's a director and effects guy himself. He's done a shit ton of stuff like Skinless Pete, Easter Castic, Zombie A-Hole, etc. I've seen a lot of his stuff, and if you have not seen any of his stuff, I highly recommend watching some of his films. I'm going to do one in the future. I might do Skinless Pete because that's my favorite. But yeah, a big shout out to those guys. I also want to give a big shout out to Simon Barnett and I can't see. I have my notes right here. Simon Barnett and Joel Barnett and Joe Meredith, who did the score of the movie. The score sounded amazing. I always like hearing music in SOV movies because it's always interesting. I always like hearing music in SOV movies because it always sounds really cool, and they did a really great job with the score of this movie. But overall, what did I think of Variant? Like I said a million times, I fucking love this. The effects work was really fucking stellar. The music was great. The acting and the storyline were decent, and I am really anticipating watching the first two parts, and as well as anticipating the release of the fourth part, which I think he might be working on right now. I'm not sure. He says in the commentary track he's going to be working on it soon. So I hope he gets to work on it soon because I am anticipating it. So I highly, highly, highly recommend Variant. It was a lot of fun. What are the extras? Well, there's a commentary track with Joe Meredith, which is I mentioned a few times. It was just a pretty interesting little commentary track. He mentions a couple things like where certain things were filmed, the fact he had cops called on him. Certain shots in the first part are from an ARG that he was putting together, and I will say those shots are legitimately really creepy, and I could see them in an ARG on YouTube. So I hope we work on that in the future because it's really cool. But it's a very informative little track. I highly recommend giving it a listen. There's Down to Justice music video, which is a music video for a song that's featured in the movie. That was pretty cool. The Variant video game intro was really awesome. It looked like a legit 8-bit video game intro. So yeah, that looked really cool. I'm into 8-bit video games. I'm not really into newer video games, but the 8-bit stuff I like. There's a Variant art stills gallery, which is really cool. There's the trailer. There's an SOVHorror.com trailer vault, which has a bunch of trailers for the previous SOV horror releases. This is on every single DVD, but it's really cool. And there's also this special card right here for classified thing. I don't think I have a better image of that, but that's pretty cool. It's actually pretty cool. I like little special stuff like that. But yeah, I highly recommend this one. You can pick it up at sovhorror.com, um, along with a bunch of awesome movies. But this one, yes, in particular, I highly recommend picking this one up. Um, as for my next review, I'll be going back to the Joe Sherlock movies. I got quite a few of those to do. But the week after that, I will be doing a brand new, and when I say brand new, um, SUVHorror.com release. It's for a movie that I'm looking forward to watching. So keep an eye out for that. But that's it for now. What is your favorite alien creature movie? Let me know down below. If you like my channel, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment that answer down below. But I'm Jonathan Knight. This has been B Movie Madness. Thanks for watching.